they ask you how you are, you just have to say that you're fine when you're not really fine, but you just can't get into it because they would never.
Here we are flying the I-225, highly requested, actually a very competitive and good plane. It just compresses quite badly. It's very good at high altitude. And the guns are, well, they're very lackluster. The 4 ShVaks, 100 rounds per gun. You think 4 of them might actually get the job done, and you'd be right. The problem is just that you need a lot of ammo to kill someone. And this 100 round per gun thing, it's less ammo per gun than the Yaks. And you all know that that thing might run out of ammo quite quickly. Luckily, you have 4 times the burst mass, because most of the Yaks only have 1 gun, and as well as the Berezin. I kind of wish this thing had more Berezins than the 20 mils, but you know, they kind of work. The problem is just that you mostly can't get many kills out of one flyout. And for this game, I'll be mostly starting up at high altitude. You can actually rival the Germans up here. The only problem is that they mostly have a lot more Germans up at high altitude, because you are one of the few planes that can actually do this. Your team will consist out of LA9s, a lot of attackers, mostly stuff like BE6s, which might actually take down some people. But the only 2 planes you will meet up here are the Yak-3 VK107, as well as this plane. And that's only 2 planes, one of them being premium, not very much well, a favorite of people. So you're mostly alone up at altitude, which makes it kind of hard at the start of the game, and mostly your team will fall apart, which is a problem with this plane. You also face a lot of Japanese, and due to the compression of this plane, it might actually be very hard to get shots on people. And for now I just want to be really aggressive and try to get people off my teammate 6, because I will need him. I will need a teammate, and otherwise this team is just gonna lose. Because you all know Russian teams, especially at higher tiers, they mostly are attackers, Su-6s, bombers, IL-10s and whatnot. And they make it very hard to carry, which is something I enjoy. The only problem is, because it compresses so badly and because the guns are so lackluster, it's kind of a combination of pain to the point where you can't really carry. This game was an exception. I actually ended up 1v6 and it was a very fun game actually. Very respectable enemies as well, and all around good fun. It's probably one of my favorite Russian planes right now. The only problem is again the guns, which is the problem with most of the Russian planes I fly. Mech is very much advised with this plane due to the very badly overheating engine. You can tell I'm only 6 minutes into the game in terms of fuel load, and my engine is already red, and it will start flashing relatively soon. So what I try to do is keep my radiators on 100%, and then here and there lower my prop pitch a little bit to 95, maybe 90% even. But I rather just lay off the web because it conserves fuel, because the fuel actually goes rather quickly in this thing if you use the web. It's not quite a Spitfire, but it doesn't, well, it's not very lean either. And for now, you can tell I have 4 people right above me and a guy on my altitude, and I'm not too sure what I want to do at this point. I hope that 190D is gonna leave me alone. I'm kinda using my squad mate for bait here, which is kinda scummy, but he agreed. So I'll do that with him. There you go, LA9 kills a 109, and then he rams the Yak-3, and that's another teammate down. And then I see 2 of the teammates, or their teammates, going for mackerel, which is perfect, and the 3rd one also breaks off. And you see him going 100%, and it's 124 degrees, and it's still flashing. And this is not on 100% prop pitch. So for now I'm just extending for a little bit. Luckily another Junker 288 crashes. That's 2 of them that crashed, but I absolutely hate killing those things. But the 109 is catching me. The other 109 broke off on mackerel, and he's coming back as well. So I am extending away for now and hoping to displease Genitalia, awesome name. I hope he breaks off before the 109 gets like within a kilometer. I'm really hoping that he breaks off, because I am outrunning him. So I am expecting him to do it, and he does. God bless. 152H crashes, very big, probably the reason I won this game. And here we go. Start turn fighting. And 109K4, he definitely turns better at higher speeds. But this one decided to not dogfight me. And he's going to boom and zoom. And if I didn't overheat as badly as I am right now, I would have caught this guy. This thing climbs extremely well. There's a very good energy retention. and it's just fast all around. Of course the K4 is quite fast too, and it's kind of equal on the deck, but it's a tough fight. But here you can see that I'm starting to overheat, and otherwise I would have easily caught this guy. Well, not easily, I would have caught him. I would have been able to dogfight him, but he's not having any of it, so I'm gonna lay off the web here just to make sure that I don't burn my engine, because if I start burning my engine in a 1v1 with a K4, I'm toast. That's how it is. If I want to fight a K4, I want to do it at lower speeds, as these landing flaps are extremely strong. It turns quite well, as you saw in the intro with the 152H. Unfortunately it ended in a hit, because that's what these guns do. But for now I'm just going to be trailing this guy, hoping I can intercept him. I'm going to try one more web boost into him, but you can tell that he's climbing really hard right now, and the 109 K4 just doesn't overheat. Well, it overheats a little bit, but it's something that doesn't really matter. I'm trying to get my prop pitch up here, see if I can catch him. But you can tell that it's just, even when I'm cutting him off with a lead pursuit, I'm barely gaining any ground. And I can't really snipe him with these guns, so I'm just going to lay off the web. I'm going to straighten out, I'm going to conserve my energy for a little bit and see what he's going to do. And he's going to go straight up. If I try to follow that, a big chance I'm going to start right in his guns. I don't know what his fuel load is. If he is running 40 minutes, or whatever that load is, then yeah, I can pitch up for him, but I'm expecting a 20-30 minute load, and in which case I won't be able to dogfight him. Well, at least not in that vertical he's going in. He's playing it rather passive, which is the smart thing to do. He probably is not very much aware of what the I-225 can do, because not many people fly it. And here you can see the compression, only 7 Gs at high speed. Luckily he doesn't commit, and he's going to pitch back up. He doesn't want to go head on, which is something I will remember. And here come the flaps. You can tell that it turns really well. Very good energy retention, very good low end power. And the K4 has very good power, but as soon as you go below that 300 kph, it's not that strong anymore. I should have killed him there, but yeah, poor aim on my end. I haven't used ShVaks in forever. This is the second game I've done in a couple of months in this plane. Well, since it became 5.7. I'm gonna go down here to actually cool my engine off, lure him into a loop, because I don't want to energy fight him with a burning engine. Miss him again. The roll is a bit iffy. And I can see that the other guy's coming back in the distance, turning in front of me again. And the thing I want to do with this plane is I want to get the position that's good. So I want to start off behind someone, which is mostly achieved by throttle dropping a little bit and then seeing where I end up. Rip one of my flaps off, quite unfortunate because I really need him in this plane. Without the flaps it doesn't turn that well. And this guy keeps turning away from me, which is kind of annoying at this point because I'm really trying to win here. I have 0 kills, there's 6 enemies left. I start shooting, oil leak, only hit 1 shell, quite unfortunate, but I'm gonna leave him for now. I have to get some speed to dogfight or run at least from the 190 and the 109, because I'm gonna play it relatively passive here. The 109 is breaking off, which is great for me. That 109 looks to be, well, the engine is not completely fine. 190 doesn't want to go head on either, which is completely fine with me. And I'm just going to extend now, and I'm gonna get some speed up, and I'm just gonna run it. I'm gonna gun it. Because I don't want that 109 K4 to intervene, because I know he's damaged, I know he wants to RTB, otherwise he's going to burn his engine up and he's going to die, which is exactly what I want to do. So I'm basically turning this 3v1 into a 2v1 simply by just running his engine. I'm just going to keep his engine running and hope he's going to extend back to his base, because we're very far away from the runway. So I'm expecting him, if he's doing a smart thing, and he plays relatively smart, so I am expecting him to go for the runway, but at this point he's flying in such a way that I'm hoping he doesn't go for me as I start dogfighting these two guys. So I'm gonna wait to get some more separation. The 109 K4 is going to catch me, because he's still in a slight dive, as am I. We're relatively the same speed. I can't web, well I can web, but I'm not webbing, just to cool my engine off a little bit so I can start dogfighting in a bit. But the 109 really seems to be not going to intervene with this dogfight. So what I want to do right now is I'm gonna wait for that 109 to get like close enough so I can turn. I'm going to ignore the 190D and I'm just gonna focus on the K4. K4 breaks up, which is the thing he shouldn't have done. The 190 isn't going to follow this loop. I'm sorry, but you're a 190 Dora. So I'm not even looking at him. If he comes back as soon as he could, there you go. No way he's gonna break into that loop. And at lower speeds the Dora stands no chance, and you can tell that I'm gonna go a lot higher than he is. I'm gonna fall right on top of him, Don't have enough lead, but it doesn't matter, it's a 190 D9. So I should be able to easily out-dogfight this guy. I'm gonna throttle drop so I can end up behind him, as I will catch him. I have way better acceleration, I'm faster than him, and I turn better than him. So all I have to do is just stay on the 6, so he doesn't reverse me. There goes the crit, that's the 109 K4 engine that burned up, lost tail control, and I'm gonna leave him to crash right into the dust. And there we go. And now I'm contemplating if I go for the two guys in the middle, but you can see that I'm very far away from the runway. This thing is not very lean in terms of fuel management, and I'm only 6 minutes of fuel left. So I might have enough ammo, but it's still 4v2, now 4v1, mackerels in the ground as well. And here's someone calling the I-225 OP, and if you just saw, it's not that good at turn fighting. It's good at very low altitude or very low speeds, but that's about it. I'm gonna skip forward because it's a very long run, because I don't want to burn my engine up in case I get caught off guard. So the 335 is the ground pounding, as well as the G14, K4 is RTB, and the rest is the Junker 288, right as a column on the bottom there. We talked a little bit, and he wanted to 1v1 this plane because he wondered how it is to fight. So here it is, 1v1, the other two are on the runway, they're still climbing towards us. So I want to seal this deal as quickly as I can, because I of course can guarantee that the other two guys will also leave me for the 1v1. And here we go, I go straight up, and that's why? Because I want to burn as much speed as I can so I can keep it slow. But he turned a lot better because he doesn't compress as much at high speed, so you can tell that he will quite easily got inside of me here. So what I do is I'm gonna go horizontal so I don't bleed my speed. He somehow hits that, I'm not too sure, probably the 13 mils. Luckily not enough damage. And here we are, I'm basically have him right where I want him to be. I can drop my landing flaps, and if I can drop my landing flaps, I will outturn this guy. So what do? I'm gonna loop outside of his turning circle here, kind of turn in behind him. He is relatively slow, so am I, and I can drop these landing flaps. And what I do now is drop my throttle, so I can get the advantageous position. If I start behind him now, he is basically toast. There's not much he's going to do. And you can tell that slowly but surely he is going to end up in front of me, and now we are reversed. I am behind him, and I can start whapping again. And if he wants to reverse me, he has to cut his throttle. I turn better if he tries to do that. He has to play the energy game, but he's not going to get away with it, and he flies right into my guns. Very nice fight. Thank you for the 1v1. It's probably one of the tensest ones I've had in a while. Very good fight. Both of them actually. The one at the start too, so I'm very happy I only killed your engine, only your oil. So that was two very nice fights in the same game, so thank you for that. And now I'm just going to be looking for the other two guys, because I still have a 109. There he is, butt naked, and genitalia. Pretty great names this match, I do have to admit. And after that there's just 335 and Junker 288. And the G14 is not much of a problem. If I can out-dogfight the K4, I can out-dogfight the G14. I had way more energy coming into this. He tried a loop. Sorry, but it's just not gonna happen. And there you have it. 1v4 versus fighters, German fighters. Very good, very nice fight. Not as tense as the XP55 I had 3 days ago, but it's definitely up there. And for now, I'm just gonna be cleaning up the Junker 288. Yes, I know it's Junker, but you people keep mentioning it, so I'm gonna keep calling it a Junker. And after that is the Donye 335. Of course, it's actually reversed, because I'm gonna kill the 335 first. It's just a matter of looking for him, finding him, and then killing killing them. And that's basically game. I'm gonna keep it in just for completionist sake. So if you want to watch the whole thing, be my guest. I'm gonna ramble on a bit about some, I don't know what I'm gonna ramble about. I'll see, I'll figure it out. But some people want to see the whole game, and some people only care about the plane performance, which is the first part of the video. And the second part of the video is just, well, mopping up a bomber and a 335 basically. So I'm gonna be looking for him. I know he's ground pounding, he's still ground pounding. If he hadn't, I probably would have lost. Because if he had boom and zoom me or whatever, he would have been very annoying. Luckily he didn't do such thing, and luckily two of the Junker 288s crashed, making it so that they didn't win on tickets, because we almost lost on tickets. We had 400 tickets in the end, or 500, I'm not too sure what it was. But if they had killed 1 or 2 more bases, well, 2 more bases I think, we would have lost. And there he is, the Donye 335. Butt naked, is still spinning out of control right into the ground. Telling people to, of course, watch my channel. was a good fight, so you know, might be beneficial for them as well that they see what they did wrong. And we all learned something from it. Kinda impressed with the 225 in general. I didn't expect it to be this good. I knew that the flaps made it turn very well, but still when I'm fighting a K4 and I'm not sure what his fuel load is, it becomes a bit sketchy. Luckily it all worked out in the end. The 335 doesn't really seem to be bothered by my presence. Shoot too low, ShVaks, and there we go, hit a burst, absolutely nothing. You see that I can barely roll with him, so instead I just leveled out. More hits. God bless ShVaks. Hit him again, suffer damage of tail. Of course I'm shooting the middle because the 325 is a massive tank, and a lot of times you will set the engines on fire. Or maybe you crit one of the engines, and if you do that, he is basically dead. He went into the ground, absolutely perfect. And now I'm just gonna speed it up, because looking for a bomber isn't very enticing. But yeah, this is definitely one of the more fun Russian planes that I flew, because most of the Russian props I just can't stand, mostly due to the guns. I do like the LA-7s, as well as the early Yaks, the Yak 1B, the Yak 3, Yak 3P, not as much anymore. But all those planes are relatively fun, but this thing actually feels like it's quirky, it's different, and it doesn't feel like a Russian plane. It feels actually pretty good. Of course, at higher speeds you start compressing really badly, and the guns are just absolute piss poor. But it's workable, and thankfully the performance of this plane is good enough where you can get away with it. It feels a bit like the P-38K, and if you haven't flown that thing, I might make a video on that relatively soon as well. But it's a stressful plane, so to speak, because you mostly have to carry, and the plane itself isn't very carry friendly due to the compression. Kill his gunner, which is huge, because now I know that he won't be able to gun me down. I shot the tail, so I probably didn't kill the 13 mil. I probably killed the 20 mil, which is the thing I care about the most. And I'm actually gonna let him bomb. I have enough tickets. This Junker 288 had a very long match, so why not give him an extra bomb load? And he might get some extra RP out of it. He didn't reply, so maybe this enemy chat turned off, but I don't mind. I'm gonna let him bomb. He's gonna go right for the middle target. He's not trying to bomb multiple targets at once, so I'm just gonna let him do that and call it a game. He's almost there. Of course, with the 4 times sped up, it's a lot better. And he he bombs himself. I'm not too sure why he did that. He probably was just too low, but it's alright. And I kill him, and that's a game. Again, thank you for the enemy team. Fantastic fight. Fantastic plane. And I had a lot of fun doing this. Not sure what the sound is cutting out here, but it might just be because of me alt-tabbing or something like that. I'm not too sure, but it doesn't matter. It's alright. And that's 6 kills, 1v6 basically. I will count it a 1v4 because a bomber and the 335 don't really count, especially when they're ground pounding. But yeah, there you have it. Hope you enjoyed it, hope you made up your mind about this plane. I tried to trim this video down as much as I could because it was almost 32 minutes. So there you go. I will see you all very soon and have a very nice day.